To Israel now. Their war with Hamas has crossed the 3-month mark, but instead of wrapping up, it seems to be getting worse. Gaza is in ruins, thousands of people have died, and now Israel is bracing for trouble in the north. That's Lebanon. Last week, Israel struck Lebanon, their capital Beirut. Israel attacked. They killed a Hamas leader there in Beirut. Now Lebanon is the home of Hezbollah, a militant group that has ties with Hamas and Iran. Ever since the war began, Israel has faced shelling from the Hezbollah. It was limited to cross-border exchanges, but now Israel has killed a senior Hezbollah leader too. An Israeli airstrike hit a car in southern Lebanon. It was carrying a man called Wissam al-Tawil, the deputy leader of an elite Hezbollah force. So we come back to the question, will this war escalate? Israel's allies are worried, specifically the US. They're worried. An American intelligence report is out. It says Israel may not win the war against Hezbollah. Here's more.
I'm suggesting to Hezbollah to learn what Hamas already learned in the previous months. No terrorist is immune, and we are determined to defend our citizens and to return the people of the north to their homes safely. This is a national goal that we all share, and we are acting responsibly to contain it. If we can, we will do it in political ways, and if not, we will act in other ways.
It's statements like these which have Israel's allies worried. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said this yesterday, after the Lebanon-based Hezbollah group had fired over 62 rockets at Israel. They claim to have taken out an Israeli observation post, and Israel has been returning fire since. Netanyahu's speech was about projecting strength. He has to, that's his job. But he also seems to be threatening to go to war with Hezbollah, which is not a good idea, at least according to the US. The US Defense Intelligence Agency has conducted an assessment. They found that Israel may have difficulty succeeding if there was an escalation with Hezbollah. It suggests that Israel won't win a two-front war, because after 3 months in Gaza, Israel is stretched thin. It has been bombarding Gaza non-stop. The Israeli Air Force is apparently not fresh enough to tackle Hezbollah. They would face difficulties against Hezbollah air defense systems and their advanced rockets and missiles. It would be a different type of war compared to the flattening of Gaza. The Israeli ground forces would have trouble too. Hezbollah is much stronger than Hamas. It has more fighters. It claims to have over 100,000, but even conservative estimates put them at about 50,000 at least. And they are better trained than Hamas. Some Hezbollah fighters have even seen real combat in neighboring Syria. So an assault on Lebanon definitely won't be the same as storming Gaza. But Israel still seems to be considering it. You have the belligerent statements from Netanyahu and his officials, and on the 1st of January, Israel decided to rest some reservists, letting them recuperate ahead of a new round of fighting. Could that fighting be in the north? Israel's allies are desperately trying to prevent this, both the US and Europe. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in West Asia, again. It's his 4th trip since the war began. He has been flying between Turkey, Jordan, Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia and Israel, trying to get all the big regional players to calm things down.
This is a conflict that could easily metastasize, causing even more insecurity and even more suffering. So from day one, among other priorities, we have been intensely focused on working to prevent the conflict from spreading. And that is indeed a major focus of what is now my 4th visit to the region since October 7th.
Meanwhile, the EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, was in Lebanon, also trying his best to avoid an escalation.
I am here when we are seeing a worry intensification of exchange of fire across the blue line in the border between Lebanon and Israel. And I think that the war can be prevented, has to be avoided, and diplomacy can prevail to look for a better solution. And I am sending this message to Israel too. Nobody will win from a regional conflict.
Nobody will win. That was a message for Israel. the West wants to avoid another Iraq scenario, where they have to send in troops for years without having a proper end goal or exit strategy. That's what an Israel-Hezbollah war would end up as, and West Asia may not be able to recover from that.